All right, here we go for another flagship episode. Greg's back. He hasn't learned his lesson yet, and apparently you guys haven't either because you're back here for the show. I hope you guys are watching us on YouTube or Rumble because we get all dressed up. I mean, I've got my old gray T-shirt on, and you're not wearing your Platinum Drivetrain shirt for a change.
No, I changed into something that was halfway clean and not soaked in gear oil when I got to the house, and then got busy packing and sorting, and so now I'm over here covered in dirt and sweat, and I need to change and shower all over again.
That's perfect for a Jeep show. Absolutely. All right, this is Tony, and welcome to the Jeep Talk Show. Greg, tell people who you are and who you're with, and all about that.
Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, Greg Nickel. I'm the lead installer, lead tech at Platinum Drivetrain Works, located in Hutto, Texas. Easiest way to reach me, if you can't get on social media, is going to be through the shop phone, 325-248-4000. All things related to gears, axles, and differentials, with some other stuff thrown in just for good measure. So,
you know, Greg, we were just talking about it's really difficult to get people to send in questions, emails, feedback, the whole 9 yards. They could just call you on the phone. You're not doing anything, right? You could just take a call and shop. So
if I don't answer, I'm either elbows deep in a differential, or I'm just not there. One of the two. So
it could have been this or a gynecologist. Which one do you think would have elbows deep?
I mean, yeah. I'm wanting to bet you a shiny nickel that particular job is not all that the younger men in their heyday would like you to believe it is.
It's like my old joke. A nude beach sounds like a good idea till you get there.
Yeah, and then you realize that it's mostly men, and they're pretty much past their prime. And
I didn't think testicles could drop that low. Yeah.
Dude, I had a dentist back in the day that he was telling me a story about him and his wife traveling to one of them places, and this is while they're prepping me for oral. So I had to have
not in my mouth, dude.
Out.
Yeah.
So it's wisdom teeth getting cut out, so they knock you out to do it. And so he's like, "Here in a minute, we're going to put the gas on you, and you're going to count backwards." But anyway, so it's almost like he was talking to the assistant, he's like, right. There the wife and I were on this beach at such and such, so and so, and I'm walking around looking at all these dudes. And then, okay, Mr. Nickel, start counting backwards. And I'm just like, oh, wait, what?
So I just want to point. Are you
going to finish that sentence? Like,
I just want to point something out here, Greg. I'm just going to point something out here. Real men don't get knocked out when their wisdom teeth are removed. I had 3 removed at one time, and they gave me the laughing gas. Of course they numbed the area, but they had all 3 out. It was no big deal.
I insisted I wanted to be out because they had to cut out all 4 of them. They were impacted in my jaws, and I wasn't trying to.
Did they tell you about how it works like a mechanic type thing where you push the tooth in and it releases and comes out?
Yeah,
that's what he told me. No, he had to cut mine out too. And I swear to God, I was all numbed up and gassed up and stuff, and I still felt a sharp pain to this day. I believe that was a nerve snapping. It really hurt.
Everybody reacts to that stuff. The anesthetics and all that stuff. Is that right? Yeah, I'm saying that right. Anesthesia. Mm-hmm. I've tried it before, and I don't know what it is about my physical makeup, but just the shots alone, if they don't get cracking as soon as things go numb, for whatever reason, it just doesn't last very long on me. So I put a hole with the heel of my boot in a chair one time where they were doing I had a tooth that cracked and got infected, and they just did the old yank that sucker out. But it was a couple of shots, a little bit of the gas. But by the time they actually got started going, I could feel them. Like, they start working that
and
fire.
They say, oh yeah, you'll feel some pressure. Pressure, hell.
Yeah, you'll feel some pressure. I'm like, no, I can fucking feel that. Stop, please. And they're like, are you sure?
When I'm biting on your finger, I'll remind you, it's just some pressure. So my mom was born in 1922, and she has experiences with the dentist before they had anesthetic.
Can you imagine?
She would have to go to the dentist. She had PTSD before PTSD was a thing. She had PTSD about the dentist, and I can understand why.
I believe it. I'm one of those people. I freaking hate going.
Well, thanks for joining us on Dental Today. No, this is not Dental Today. On tonight's episode, Jeep Q2 numbers rise. People are dubious about this, I know. Spotting ins and outs and teaching versus technique. And that's going to be Greg, because I don't know nothing about no spotting, at least not spotting Jeeps. All right, so a little bit of news here to start with. Jeep's downfall spotlighted. A Bloomberg feature detailed Jeep's struggles under Stellantis, those rat bastards, not Stellantis, Bloomberg, blaming mismanagement, profit focus, and trade tensions with the Trump administration for eroding the iconic brand's market share. The the piece contrasts Jeep heritage ads like Harrison Ford's Super Bowl spot. I've never seen that one. I've heard about it, but I've never seen that one. I got to go look that up on the YouTubes. But Harrison Ford's Super Bowl spot emphasizing choice between gas and electric models with internal woes. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Greg, but I certainly think that Jeep's or Stellantis's management or mismanagement certainly has been a prime player in Jeep's downfall.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that well before I'm gonna try to blame politics. I know a lot of people want to, the tariffs this,
Nobody
that.
likes the tariffs. I'd always learned in school tariffs are a bad thing.
Oh, were we taught right? I mean, I'll be honest. I've never sat down and ever done any of the research to know one way or the other.
Well, why would we care?
Work.
Yeah, why would we care? I mean, it's not something.
Think about, so.
Yeah. I mean, if I can tariff another country for podcasting, boy, I'm in there. I mean, they got to pay extra to listen to the Jeep Talk Show. Yeah. So, but boy, I mean, it looks like we're getting $600 billion of tariff income this year if everything winds out like the first half of the year has started.
If the money's there, something's working. You would think
money for nothing and chicks for free. So I don't think the chick's going to be there. But yeah, I mean,
is it chicks or checks? Do you remember? I remember that song. Is it checks?
The checks in your mouth. No, chicks. I'm almost certain it's chicks for free because
Dire Straits were singing about that. There was
money for nothing and chicks for free. That's interesting. What is it out there? What is it, guys? Do you think it's chicks or checks? I think it's chicks. Free checks isn't the same. Free chicks means something.
I know it doesn't make a lot of sense. Money for nothing and chicks for free. Yeah, I mean that fits. We'll go with that.
All right, so CEO promises revival. Stellantis CEO Antonio Filosa outlined a turnaround, including bringing back V8 engines and the Jeep Cherokee. He emphasized listening to customers who screamed for those features, with Cherokee relaunch filling a gap left by its 2023 discontinuation. Greg, did you feel the gap whenever they stopped making the new Cherokee, the KL or whatever the hell it is?
Let's be honest, the 5.7 Hemis were, just a couple of steps above the 3.6 Pentastar and suffered from all the same problems, if not more so. So I'm like, if you're going to bring it back, you better radically improve it and make it more, I don't know, just more of a not so exclusive. I think that's like for people that are in that realm.
And the price, put it in a decent price range, right. I think is what you're saying. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, $150,000 Trailhawk all-wheel drive with 750 horsepower. That's a luxury sport utility that you're never going to take off-road unless you're like that guy that wheels his Ferrari in the dirt. But I'm just saying, it's the pricing initially on the 392s, in my opinion, when they were putting them in the Gladiators, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now
you heard my idea.
Is it worth
right?
it?
Yeah, you heard my idea, right? As far as pricing goes.
What was your idea?
Well, you come out with the 392 Hemi. I mean, continue it with the Wranglers, put it in the Gladiator, which is what they're planning on doing. And instead of pricing it at 100,000, 110, whatever they can get out of it, of course, now nobody's going to believe you when you say it's the final edition. But instead of doing that, why don't you, this is like sales 101, and I don't know sales, so keep that in mind. This is sales 101. So it's a Rubicon, right? So say it's $65,000. And so you get all the bells and whistles with the Rubicon, $65,000. Hey, would you like for us to put a Hemi in that for you? It'll just be an extra $10,000. That's only $125 more a month. Instead of, I can add that Hemi to you on there for an extra $40,000. Come on.
Well, again, and this is, I'm no, economic expert. I'm no,
but you're a consumer, damn it, and you know what you would do.
If it were me, I would rather sell a couple of million units at 50 or 60K each than selling a couple 100,000 every year for the 110, 120 and up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's been the problem. Because I think Stellantis was going for the elite vehicles. They were going for the money.
And that kind of grates against the nerves of your average Jeep owner enthusiast off-road. Yeah. Jeepers, it's not about exclusivity. It's more of a family community, like anybody can get into this and enjoy it. You don't have to have a 6-figure income to go wheeling and enjoy yourself. It can be done on a budget. And yeah, there are people that simply buy them and drive them because it says Hemi on the side or because it says Rubicon, and they don't ever off-road the thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not, as far as what I've seen in the market and with the community and stuff, that's not your mainstay of a Jeep owner or potential Jeep buyer.
Well, we have a Jeep Talk Show team member, Bill, who has a 392. I think he's the only one in the group that has a legitimate from the factory 392. And in 2023, we all went out to EJS, and he was wheeling the shit out of that thing. I remember we were on Hell's Revenge, and we were both looking at the gauge to tell us that our tilt going down, up and down. And he was telling me what he was reading. I think I was like a degree off from where he was. Of course, my vehicle's a little longer, the Gladiator. But he actually bought a JL to go with that. And then in 2024, I think he took the JL out there. So he actually has 2 Jeeps, and one's a 392, 4-door and a 2-door. So, that's really cool. It sounds great. He actually sent me a little recording of the 392 starting up. Oh, it sounds so nice.
Oh, they're fun to drive too. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of like we talked about horsepower versus torque. I mean, any mildly healthy V8 is going to be fun to drive. But is it, like you mentioned, is it worth an extra $30,000-$40,000 premium just to have that badge on the side of the Jeep and go at stoplights?
Well, if you're a successful YouTuber, what the hell? I'm not, so I'm not going to be getting one.
No.
All right, so
I'm doing this the opposite. So
here's something we teased at the top of the show: sales context. Jeep's Q2 2025 sales rose 1% year over year. It's going up. So they're saying there's a chance. And this was driven by the Wrangler and Gladiator sales, bucking Stellantis's 10% U.S. decline. So Stellantis overall has a 10% decline, but Jeep sales are up. So I don't know that the new management has had an opportunity to make a change yet. But I think people are anticipating some good stuff coming from Jeep. Who is it? Bob Brodendorf, who's in charge of the Jeep brand in USA now. So I certainly hope so, because we all love Jeep and we want them. We want Jeep to do good, but we want them to do it the right way. Damn it, they just need to listen to us.
Yeah,
and then we'll be happy.
I guarantee you, there's too many executives sitting around those big fancy tables and their big fancy chairs that just aren't reading the fucking room. They're chasing after the wrong dollars, in my opinion.
Yeah, meetings are horrible.
Just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying.
It dawned on me. It dawned on me that not too long ago there was a big. What was it? Was it a year and a half ago? Whenever there was a had a strike and they wanted more money.
Yeah.
And I think it was a bad time to want more money. I mean,
it was a very bad time.
I understand why.
Was
because
after we ordered the wife's Jeep, and it caused a massive delay on getting delivery of hers because she had a special order left-hand drive for her job.
Yeah. So, I think that that was. I understand prices for everything are up. They're still up. Things are getting better, but the prices were up, and of course they got to charge more, and they have to make money. So, if you were Stellantis. And you didn't want to have to pay as much, if you made fewer vehicles, then you might need fewer workers. You may not need them in the shop and building them very much. So that might have been one of the reasons why they were going towards luxury vehicles, luxury Jeeps.
It's possible. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, because that's how corporations like that will absolutely operate. Mm-hmm. Consumer demand is only one part of the equation. So yeah, that's when people's like, why can't they do this? Why they do that? The whole debacle. I'm going to call it a debacle. Is definitely a marketing faux pas where we're taking this V8 away, last edition, final edition, this and that, and it's like, well, holy crap, those sold really well. Let's just bring it back for a little bit, like see what happens. It's like, well, now you're going to piss people off because it's like tease them and then snatch it away and tease them again, and you go. That's a good way to turn a lot of people off to your product.
Guys at the bar crying in his beer. I had a final $392.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you, a bunch of them that sold it above fucking retail. The guys that were paying premiums above and beyond retail on those things, thinking they were getting into an investment collector's item. Sorry about your bad luck.
Yeah. All right, Greg. So I think everybody knows, but let's assume we got newbies that don't know. Okay. So what is spotting? Spotting sounds like, is it that movie Train Spotting? I never saw that movie. I don't know what that's about. But
it's about drug abuse.
Is it like bird spotting, where you go out there and make little warbling noises and take pictures and draw images of what is spotting in the off-road world?
So spotting in the off-road world is when somebody outside the vehicle is standing there giving you directions and or instruction. And normally this is to compensate for what the driver cannot see or cannot feel.
Usually or maybe not know what the hell they're doing.
That's also, it's a huge one. So in essence, it's supposed to be a really simple thing. I'm giving you directions to A, help you navigate the obstacle and or trail, and B, hopefully keep you from tearing anything up or getting anybody hurt.
Flopping over,
if I
all
can
kinds
see
of
something, I see something getting wonky and I don't like it, I'm telling the driver, stop, or we have to make an adjustment. Everybody has their own techniques. I'm not real fond of hand signals. I prefer just really loud, specific commands. When I'm spotting, I'll say driver if I want you to turn driver. I'll say passenger if I want you to turn passenger. Forward slowly, or stop. Simple, easy to understand. If you're in a larger group, like we talked about the GRMS and radios and stuff, two ways not too long ago. That's another, like if you've ever seen some of the professional race teams and stuff, those guys are wearing headsets so they can hear each other communicate. So not unlike having a co-driver, but the co-driver's outside the vehicle. So they can see and observe everything that you can't from your vantage point in the driver's seat. So for a lot of people, that's invaluable. I mean, and it's going to help build your confidence, because the more you experience that with somebody you can trust guiding you, spotting you, the more you learn, okay, that's what that feels like. This is what I need to do in this situation, et cetera,
and you see the rock or whatever the obstacle is, so and you get a feel for how quickly it comes up and what it feels like you say. So you're actually learning how to navigate off-road on your own. The thing I've always brought up when it comes to spotting, how do you know you have a good spotter?
That one can be tricky, because if you are a newbie, you don't really know the difference. So it helps if you're not first in line to maybe observe, from the sideline without, getting involved, and just pay attention to who's saying what and doing what. I will be the first one if I'm guiding a newbie group, or I'm at a group at any event or a trail or something where there's a large number of people, and you've got 2 or 3, 4 guys all hollering at the driver at the same time, I'll tell them, shut up. One person spots.
Pick a number. Yeah.
Pick a number. And if your spotter this is one of my tells that I can tell you right now from personal experience if it's a good spot or not. If they just stand in one spot with their drink or whatever beverage or snack, and they never move from that one spot, and they're going, all right, come on, keep coming, you're almost there, now turn left. That guy, no, I'm not going to listen to that guy. Somebody that's paying attention is going to be changing angles and looking and viewing.
Yeah, they're going to be getting down a little bit.
The more difficult it is, they're going to be, a lot more careful about where they're putting
moving side to side so you can see tire placement.
So stuff like that. And you obviously don't ever want to spot somebody into something that their skill level doesn't necessarily support. I tell my newbies all the time when I do take them out, so I'm not going to put you in anything I can't get you out of, one way or the other. So if a driver starts to panic, that's like all full stop, shut her down, everybody step back, take a break, because I've seen it happen. You'd be surprised how many people that are new to the off-road world, the first time they go a little off camber, a little nose up, a little nose down.
Scary.
In the Jeep, it can feel like, oh God, I'm going to flop this
It
thing
is
over. But from the
such a
outside, everybody's like,
strange feeling. And when you've been on level ground or maybe done a
your whole
flyover
life.
on a highway your whole life, and it's
that's
nice
all you
and
know.
smooth.
Then the first time you go 15 degrees off one way or the other, you're like, oh my goodness, it really starts to get. But that's also where the adrenaline comes in too,
That's
where
the
the
fun.
excitement comes in. So if you
Well,
don't panic and you're
it's
like, oh,
going,
this is cool.
It's like going to the amusement park and getting on the not the trolley. What do you call the thing? The ride?
Roller coaster.
The
Biggest,
roller
fastest
coaster.
one you can get on. Yeah. It's either going to scare you to death or you're going to have a ball or maybe both. And then you're like, do I do that again?
Or scare your balls to death. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I am, as far as technique versus training, I honestly like to promote, especially for newbies, that it's seat time. There's no substitute for practice and training. Absolutely. Then
do you think it's a good idea for the newbie to ask to get behind somebody? Let them see what the spotter is going to do with the vehicle ahead of them?
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I don't want to be first. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the vantage point of seeing where they put that vehicle's tires versus how the vehicle reacts, or if the driver, like if that line doesn't work for him and you see something different, or the spotter goes, well, this Jeep with a different wheelbase and the different tire size versus the guy behind it.
And that's the other thing. If you can get behind a vehicle that's just like yours, maybe it's a different lift and stuff, but at the same length wheelbase, and if it's lifted about the same, absolutely. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
I made sure that I followed Gladiators in at Moab.
Oh, it helps. It helps immensely because you're not going to get away with the same stuff like you go to Potato Salad Hill or the Hot Tub or something like that in a 2-door on 35s versus a Gladiator that's on 40s. That the wheelbase difference makes all of the difference in the world on an obstacle like one of those two. Mm-hmm. So yeah, pick your battles wisely, folks. That is damn good advice.
And there's nothing wrong with taking a bypass. There's nothing wrong with saying, hang on a second here, I'm concerned about this. And talk to the spotter. If you don't like
what's happening, you tell them, I want to stop, I want to back out, I want a winch, whatever. Don't ever let anybody browbeat you or convince you or bully you into doing something you don't feel comfortable doing. It's your vehicle. It's not theirs. And there's very, very few people out there that will ever take responsibility on a financial level if their spotting advice ends up being not good.
Zero.
Because it's just going to be cool video for YouTube or Instagram, right? You're gonna get a bunch of clicks and views for carnage, but
and the crowd is going to be just more than happy for you to have carnage. Yeah.
So that's a lot of people watch those kind of videos, like watching NASCAR. We've talked about that. Or the rock mounts. We want to see the crashes. Will this guy make it or does he dump it? That kind of thing. But I'm to the point these days, because I've just been doing it for so damn long. I don't really use the spotter that often. It's every once in a while, if I'm in a really obnoxious position or something that's a new trail to me, I might ask, a local or even the wife, hey, how does it look from your vantage point? Mm-hmm. But 99% of the time these days, I drive with, we affectionately refer to it as driving by braille. Yeah. I know what my vehicle feels like if I'm scraping a diff, scraping a frame rail, scraping a suspension link. I know what that sounds like. I know what it feels like. And I know what my Jeep's going to do when it reacts to my input versus the obstacle. Not something that you want to do with the vehicle that you're trying to drive home, from the trailer. Right. If you're not trailering it. It's not something you probably want to do if your vehicle is financed in some form or fashion, because driving by braille can get you into a lot of trouble. You get overconfident. You think, oh, I got this, and the next thing you're.
I've never experienced
your driver window.
The largest tire I've ever experienced is 37 up at Gold Mountain in California, and I didn't have any problems with the thing whatsoever. I mean, I had a problem getting over a minor shelf, and Wendy hollered at me and said, "Do you have lockers on?" I said, "No, nobody told me to turn them on. Turn on the lockers." And then I drove up and over it, so no problem. But anyway, so I'm thinking that once you get to a certain size tire, and it really depends on the terrain, but I think most off-road terrain, 40s or 42s, it's almost point and shoot for the majority of the trails.
It definitely, you're definitely knocking on the door if you're not there already, and inside. Like mine, going just making the change on mine from 42s to 45s, it's like cheating. The tires I've got now are so damn big that stuff that I used to, because when I first did the ton swap on mine, I just started out on 40s, but my wheelbase is so long the 40s literally were not tall enough. My breakover angles sucked, so I stepped up to 43s, ran those for a bit, and then dropped back down to 42s. And I could get away with a lot of gnarly stuff is how my axles are built and everything. But when I put the 45s on, it was a game changer. As much as I hate to sound the stereo, what do you call it? The cliche.
Yeah, the stereotype.
But it is. I mean, the tires are so damn big that stuff that would make a Jeep on 40 struggle, mine just like it's nothing, So
That's why we make these modifications. Is because we're trying to build a Jeep that can go wherever we want it to go easily.
Exactly.
And of course the obstacles can get bigger at that point too. And then you put yourself in a different class of individuals. You're out there with other people running 45s.
You're building your skills up even more. You're learning more. I mean, there's not a time that I've been out with my Jeep in the last 5 or 6 years that I haven't done something that I haven't done before, or done something a little easier that maybe gave me, trouble before, certain obstacles and whatnot. And so every time out, I'm still learning. I mean, for all my years of experience,
you have to be. If you weren't learning, it wouldn't be any fun. Yeah.
No, you got it.
So let me make sure
that get complacent and they don't want to broaden their skills, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Verify me on this statement. You do not have to build your Jeep to 45s, 54s, 102s. You do not have to build a monster truck to go out and have a good time off road. No, and you will not be left behind if you have 37s. Or if you even have 35s. It really depends on the platform. I mean, a TJ with 35s, that's pretty hardcore without changing out the axles. So, or an XJ.
So, I mean,
or an XJ with 35s. I can take
a bone stock JLU Rubicon and do things with it, on the basically factory size tires that would scare, an entry level wheeler.
So don't think you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. This is just a sickness that Greg has. And many of us have this sickness to a varying degree. And I guarantee you, if I had the money, I think it'd be a blast to have the Gladiator on 45s and just it gets parked in the driveway anyway.
The stuff I used to enjoy, and I don't want to say entry level, but like your more mild or mediocre, mid-level trails, I can do it 2-wheel drive now. So it takes all the fun out of stuff like that. So if you have a favorite trail that's a scenic driver, or an overland type scenario or something, having a rig like mine, it takes all of the challenge out of it. It takes all of the fun out of it.
And it means there's fewer trails that you could go to that are challenging.
You keep having to, it's looking for that next adrenaline fix, looking for that next crazy line, that next big gnarly obstacle. It's like, how hard can I really push this thing?
And it doesn't mean you're not going to roll it, and it doesn't mean you're not going to break anything.
Oh, no.
So,
No. If you ever get to see mine up close, it's literally it's a smushed beer can at this point. It's a raisin. There is not a single square inch of straight sheet metal left on my rig. A lot of people would look at that and go, "Ew, why? Why would you disrespect the Jeep like that?" I'm not disrespecting it. I built it to do this with it, and I am prepared to accept the consequences of body damage. It doesn't bother me. It's a trail rig. I just so happen to drive it every day when it's running.
So let's loop back to the damn it, I'm brain farting on stuff. I'm thinking about my food downstairs. Loop back to the spotting. So I'm thinking that now I've been on runs where it's just a line of 15 to 20 Jeeps, and there is no spotting. You're just going down the trail, and it may be that the trail just isn't significant enough to have spotting. But sometimes you have newbies in there, and they may not feel comfortable just following the Jeep ahead of them, even though it's something simple, because to them, it may not be simple. There's one spot, you probably know this spot in Hidden Falls, where it's a waterway and there's a rock. There's a pointy rock on one side, and there's another rock face on the other side, and you have to thread through there. And that pointy rock is really scary, and it's on the passenger side.
That's right before the gatekeeper of FMTRO.
I bet. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. And
so the bypass, you come down the trail. Yeah. Well, I mean, because you're talking about these are rocks. The way they're shaped, I know exactly the spot you're talking about. even my Jeep, as big and badass as it is, I can't crawl over either one of those. You have to be able, when I go through that spot, it literally squeezes both sides of my tires. That's how wide mine is.
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of scratching the Jeep. No, you're not.
It'll punch a hole in your roof, or it'll tear something up. If you get it wrong by a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, one way or the other, you're going to put a rock through your window, or you're going to knock a hole in your top or something.
Well, it's not like it's not like you're going through there 20 miles an hour. You're going slow and very, very careful.
Creep through that spot.
But you know what I'm saying? So there's things like that people aren't used to. The best thing they've done is they've gotten real close to that pole at McDonald's one time, and it scared the hell out of them.
I scuffed my flare. It's also important. I'm going to add this before I forget. If you are a person that is stepping up to spot for someone else, known to you or not known to you, it doesn't matter. Bear in mind that you are accepting responsibility in some form or fashion for the safety of the people in that vehicle.
Yes.
So, it's not about the monetary value of the rig. It's about the safety of the folks inside.
Absolutely.
So you really, like you mentioned earlier with Wayne, make sure that their vehicle is in the proper mode for what you're having them attempt to do. Make sure they're strapped in, seatbelts, harnessed, whatever. No kids in the back hanging arms out the windows or any crap like that. Be smart about what you're doing and make sure you just do a quick mental check. And if you see something that catches your attention, just like a newbie asking for help, don't hesitate to tell the person behind the wheel, hold up, no, wait, we're not going to do this yet. You need to do ABC. Something like just be on your.
And if they get upset with you because you're dictating stuff,
don't spot for them.
That's right. Walk away.
Walk away. It's not worth it. If they want to be Billy Badass and put the thing on its lid with their 3 kids in the back and the family dog, you don't want that on your conscience.
And you might even say,
somebody else want to spot this guy. You
might even say, are everything okay? You know what's going on here? Do you have any questions? And if it's like, no, damn questions, honey, give me a beer. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, but you know what I'm talking about. Those type folks.
There's a lot. So walk away. Don't put yourself in the middle of that, because you don't want to. You don't want to be the guy responsible for that.
And don't spot if you're not confident in what you're doing.
Exactly.
Because people are relying on you.
Better know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Of course, then if it is the first 1 or 2 people up the hill and they see you screwing up the first 2 rigs or the first guy's rig, they're not going to listen to you.
That's right.
And then you're standing up there telling them, turn, and they're not listening because they saw what happened with the first one. So they're not going to pay attention to you anyway. But no, it is very much a matter of mutual respect and trust, especially with people that aren't familiar with one another. If you go to an organized event where they have what people call them a guide or a trail boss or something along those lines, it's 99% of the time, that's somebody that has some level of significant experience. So you can feel more comfortable with that. But if it's just a group of people you fall in with and you don't know anybody from Jehovah, be mindful of who you're listening to. Be mindful of what you're doing, because, it can get expensive in a hurry and somebody could get hurt.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's the other thing. If you see people doing stuff that you're not comfortable with what they're doing, maybe they're drinking, maybe they're drinking out of glass bottles and throwing them and crashing them on the rocks and stuff. That is probably a group.
People that litter on the trail.
And celebratory gunfire. That would be another thing that I would say.
God, no.
just drive away. Just go away. Get away from those people.
I enjoy getting down and stupid on the backside of the mountain in the woods, redneck style, just as much as the next good old boy. But I do it with people that I know. I'm not going to go and
if you're comfortable, if that's your people and you're comfortable with them, that's fine. But you should not feel
we're crawlers, but we're aggressive crawlers. So there's a difference between, drunk idiots that just want to act the fool, and I'm not going to pick on anybody in particular, side-by-side owners, that really like to push the envelope of what's socially acceptable as far as trail etiquette is concerned.
Right.
But good Lord, common sense will get you through mostly any situation you find yourself in. Don't be that guy that doesn't want to use common sense. You've heard the saying, don't be that guy.
Oh, by the way, I was going to say, by the way, in the side-by-side and don't be that guy, it's time for Nikki G. Do you know I think it was last week. I think it was last week where I said, here's Nikki G. And then there was a long pause and there was no Nikki G.
You forgot to put it in.
I forgot to put it in. So let's see if we get lucky this week. It's time for Nikki G. Do something entertaining, just in case I forget to to fix this in post.
Take it away, Nikki. There you go.
All righty. Well, are you ready to join the Jeep Talk Show crew? Become a Patreon subscriber today at xjtalk.com/contact, and you can see all kinds of things there, and you can unlock exclusive perks while supporting the show. Keep the adventure rolling by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help grow our Jeep community. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Comment, damn it. We want to hear from you.
Comment, please.
Yes.
Send us questions. Comment. Good or bad, I don't care. You don't like anything we're saying or doing, tell us about it. We don't know if we're doing a good job if you don't tell us.
Something to talk about. And maybe you got a topic to come up with. Greg's got topics to come up with, because we just did our last one tonight. So, stay in the loop by following us on social media, signing up for our newsletter for the latest Jeep news and must-attend events. Got questions and ideas for next episode? Send it our way, jeeptalkshow.com/contact. Thanks for riding along with us. Watch out for the pointy rock, and let's hit the trail for more epic adventures. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Tony. We'll see y'all. Have a good night.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.